Hi there everyone and welcome to my spring garden. There's lots been happening this week, so I'm excited to show you around. Like down in the fan garden, I've planted it up with a lot more of my flower seedlings. We'll take a look at dill, which is a very interesting herb that has quite a lot of history attached to it. Plus, let's go and look at the lemon tree too, where I have a very familiar issue with it. Let's start things off this week over here in the raised garden bed area. You can see there's lots of beautiful flowers from a brassica that's going to seed. But you know what else I found in here? A little secret that the chucks have been hiding. I just made a bit of a discovery. So Autumn, the little brown chuck, was over here in this garden bed making some funny little sounds, and I was wondering what she was up to. Anyway, she hopped out, and look what I've noticed in here. A secret stash of eggs. This happened last year as well, where I found Snowflake sitting on a bunch of eggs in a different area far away from the coop. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure why Autumn has decided to lay some eggs in here. I did check online and it suggests that it could possibly be because they feel like there's not enough room in the nesting box. But I know that's not happening with our girls because they have plenty of space. If any of you have a bit more experience than I do with chickens, I'd really appreciate if you could put some suggestions down in the comments about what exactly is happening here. Foxgloves are beginning to flower again in my spring garden. I have this very pretty white one here in this spot. I just want to give you a bit of a close-up of these beautiful flowers, but I do have to be very careful now because I have touched it, and foxglove plants are toxic, every single part of them, whether it be the leaves, the flowers or the seeds. They have these very cute, almost bell-like flowers which come in an array of colours. Over here beside the raised garden bed area, just behind this globe artichoke, I have a whole bunch of foxgloves in this little patch. I hope they get enough light because this globe artichoke is just really taking over the place. So you can see there's a few more in here, but no signs of any buds yet. But it's really good to see that some of the foxgloves in these raised garden beds have buds on them and they are not too far off flowering. Like, check these ones out. Bud, 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 lots of buds, lots more coming. How exciting. Here's Snowflake back over again. Are you coming over to keep me company, Snowflake? I really don't want to, but I know that I need to pull out all of these Johnny jump ups soon because I need to get this bed ready for summer planting. I love doing these weekly garden tours because more often than not I spot something that I hadn't noticed before. Like here, look at that. It's a flower head on this poppy plant which is growing outside of this raised garden bed. In general, poppies are best sown in autumn or fall time. However, I have been able to sow them during our winter here in New South Wales as well, and they've grown perfectly fine. Very fortunate where we live, we can grow quite a lot of stuff during winter, especially this one that's just passed. It's been extremely mild. They self-seed very easily around the garden, but if you really want to encourage more of these plants, all you have to do is let the seed pod dry out and then literally take it, sprinkle it around the garden, and come springtime you'll see all of these baby poppy plants pop up everywhere. I really do not mind at all letting self-seeded or volunteer plants growing on the outside of raised beds because I think it really softens the edge of these metal frames, making it look a bit more cozy, welcoming, more kind of cottage style in my opinion. Even here I have these daisies overhanging. This is a red Masuna that's just self-seeded in the pathway and I've left it there. To be more specific, this is called Masuna red streaks. I've actually got another plant here in this bed and they make a really nice addition to salads. But I have to warn you, as the plant gets larger, the mustard flavour intensifies and it can be quite strong. Actually, I feel like I'm showing you a lot of buds today, but there are a lot of buds. These are my sweet peas that I have growing on this archway, which is at the main entrance to the raised beds. I'll take a step back. You can see there. This side's doing much better than here. I actually planted these in a little bit later, so they probably need to catch up slightly. And I have noticed that they don't seem to be growing as well down here, and I partially blame that on all of these, which are the self-seeded dill. I'm gonna have I do. What am I saying? I do. I've got so much dill. But mostly I'm growing the dill for the flowers. That's what I really love this plant for. I just spotted some dill flower buds just there. I can't wait to have them back in the garden. What I'll actually do now is put up a bit of footage of these magnificent blooms from last year. They were massive, almost the size of dinner plates. I've actually been doing a bit of reading about dill this week, and I found out something quite interesting. Like, did you know in ancient Greek and Roman cultures, dill was used very commonly in their everyday lives? For example, they used them to flavour wine, make into crowns, and it was also considered to have a lot of medicinal properties. I found that really interesting. We're now down in the fan garden because I want to show you what I've planted in here during the week. I know it doesn't look like much at the moment, but in a couple of months, this area is going to be so colourful, you'll need your sunnies to watch it. I just wanted to say that I know in early spring it can be so tempting to plant out all of your seedlings, especially if you get a couple of warm days in a row. But really you should just try and hold back until the last chance of frost has passed. Otherwise you really are taking a bit of a risk that one morning when you come out on your garden wander, all your baby plants could have, died on you. Starting off with one massive change in here, which I'm sure many gardeners can relate to. I have managed to squeeze in an extra row for plants. This here is my extra row. So all I really did was I just moved everything over to utilize this space, which really I wasn't doing much with at all. It was just like a pathway to access the side there, but I don't really need it. I'm going to have a lot of dahlias in here. The zinnias are already planted up. Lots of different mixes of varieties in here. They're still quite small, and I do have them protected from the chickens. I've got, I don't know, I haven't really counted how many plants are in there. I try to keep the spacing maybe 3 inches apart. Ideally, the seed packet recommends further than that, but I'm just going to see how that goes. Bit of an experiment. And then over here in this bed, I've got a big mix of different flowers. So I have some feverview, some white straw flowers, yellow straw flowers, asters. That bit is empty. I'm thinking of putting globe amaranths in there. Here by the lemon tree, admiring all the lemons, but not just that. Check this out. It's starting to bloom again. This tree is a machine. Look at that. That's even a little developing lemon on there. Really, this is a sign now that I need to start removing all of this fruit, giving this tree a little bit of a break so it can put its energy into new fruit production. Some of these lemons are absolute whoppers. Incredible. Look at this one up here. See if I can grab that one too. Massive. Absolutely massive. If I take a step back, if you've been following me along for a while, you remember that I had a branch, this branch here, that had snapped on me, and I'm using this ladder to kind of prop it up, and it seems to be working. It's been like this now, it must be a couple of months. The branch is still looking pretty good, but this week I found another issue over on the other side I'm currently standing beside the tree, and where my feet are down here, it's really messy and weedy. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'll show you. This is one of my dahlia patches, and I was thinking, oh, this branch, I need to do something about it because it's taking up too much of this space, and I have tubers back here where some of the markers are, and I was thinking, oh, shouldn't I prune it back? While I was wondering, didn't I notice with this particular one, if you come in a bit closer, if I can get by, just bear with me, look up there, you see it? This one has snapped as well. But with this one, I'm not going to use a ladder. I'm actually going to chop it off because it is taking up a lot of my dahlia growing space. So can you imagine? I'll have to take a picture when I eventually do it and show you guys how many lemons do you reckon I'll get off this one big branch. I'm thinking maybe 50 or more, and I still have hundreds to go. It is insane. Once this lockdown is over, which it's due to end on the 11th of October, which is only, is it less than 2 weeks away? I will be dropping some of these off to my friend's house because there's only so much I can do when it comes to preserving. I mean, I try, but I'm not like really great at it, and you know, it's always nice to share around the harvest. I've just come under the orange tree to try and catch a bit of shade because it's getting really hot and sunny here, and it's particularly humid today too. I think that's probably because last night we had a massive storm, which is fantastic for the garden, getting all those plants settled in, but not so much for an enjoyable experience out here. So I'm going to wrap things up for this week. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again next Friday.